Wondra sits in a jail cell. He is back in Idaho, accused of killing young Michael Vaughan.
You're pure evil. You have no heart. You have no soul.
Wondra is accused of murdering her then 5-year-old son in 2021. Would you think you'll ever get the answer as to why?
No, because there is no answer to why. Why would somebody hurt an innocent little boy? What answer could you give? What answer could you possibly give? How scared was he? Did he ask for me? Did he ask for Tyler?
Stacey Wondra has been charged with first-degree murder and second-degree kidnapping and destruction of evidence.
Michael "Monkey" Vaughan went missing from his Fruitland neighborhood on July 27, 2021.
This is a criminal investigation.
Now, more than 4 years later, in newly unsealed court documents, Fruitland police named 4 people they believed are involved in Michael's murder. Those 4 names are ones we've heard before.
This is Sarah Wondra. This is Sarah's husband, Stacey Wondra. This is Brandon Shirtliff, Adrian Lucian.
As for what these 4 people have in common, they were all staying at the Wondras' home when Michael disappeared in 2021. That's just half a mile from Michael's home where he was last seen. In the PCA, police pointed to video evidence they say showing Shirtliff walking around the neighborhood. They say Shirtliff helped move Michael's body in a duffel bag temporarily to his mom's home in Kuna before standing guard as they buried him in the Wondras' Fruitland backyard. Stacy Wondra told police the 4 hoped to sell Michael for $10,000 each. He says the idea came from Adrian Lucian. Idaho News 6 is now learning Lucian was arrested and released in Indiana in October for a traffic-related misdemeanor. Sarah Wondra is currently serving time in the Idaho State Prison System for unrelated charges. She's eligible for parole in early 2026.
Karen, is there any connection between the Vaughan family and the home where police had been searching?
No, we've heard this more than once from the family representatives and from the police department that there is no connection between the Vaughan family and the home where this search took place.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughan were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondras' residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
An hour's worth of body camera footage showing Stacey Wondra FaceTiming with detectives and directing to where Monkey's body was buried in his backyard.
It's like right under that mound area. It's right under the mound. About where at compared to the trees?
A little like right to the right of the trees area. It should be, it should be a garbage bag.
Okay, what color is the garbage bag?
It would either be white or black. We only had two colors.
Is the duct tape still going to be over his mouth?
It should be.
Okay.
I didn't watch take them off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
He claims he watched the burial happen.
Okay. How far down is Michael?
I don't know how far she actually dug.
And the she he's referring to, that's his wife Sarah, another suspect in the case. Stacey says Adrian, a third suspect, was also there for the burial.
Out of 300 homes, police say canines tracked Michael's scent to the home where Stacey, his wife Sarah, and their two roommates Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucien lived.
As Joe mentioned, a newly released probable cause affidavit filed in June lays out the interviews following Michael's disappearance. Again, during these initial searches, police say canines tracked Michael's scent to the fence line of the home where Stacey Wondra, his wife Sarah, and their two roommates, Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucien, lived. All four of those individuals have been named people of interest in Michael's disappearance. One of Michael's neighbors told police they saw Michael riding a bike outside of the Wondra's home the day that he disappeared. Another neighbor said they saw that same tricycle at the Wondra's home during a garage sale months before Michael disappeared. The Wondras initially denied any involvement, but then in November of 2022, Stacey asked to meet with investigators. The PCA states Stacey claims he was home the night Michael was allegedly abducted and saw Sarah carrying Michael into the house. Stacey allegedly told police it was Adrian's idea to take a child to sell for money, and they would get a $10,000 cut. Stacey claims Sarah told everyone to, quote, follow her lead. Stacey told investigators they took him to Brandon's mother's home in Kuna that night, where they left Michael overnight. Stacey claims the other three returned to Brandon's mom's house the next day and brought Michael back to the Wanderers' home in Fruitland. Stacey told police Michael was not alive, and Sarah and Adrian buried him in the Wanderers' backyard. 2 days after Stacey's interview with police, they executed a search warrant and excavated the Wanderers' backyard. The affidavit says cadaver dogs alerted to the same area where Stacey told detectives Michael's body was buried, but to this day, Michael has not been found.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. My name is Samantha. It is March 31st, 2026. Oh, I enjoyed a nice break. I did do some working though. Able to figure out some things. So tonight we're going to be going over information from Stacey's preliminary hearing. We're going to be hearing the partial testimony from Detective JUANITA KELLEHER and the new confessions from Stacey Wondra. I was able to download this to YouTube, so we have captions because, again, Stacey talks very quietly. So while you're watching tonight, if you have your laptop or your phone, you want to turn up the volume, and you also want to probably read the caption to help you understand things that Stacey is saying. Justice is coming. Thank you so, so much for this wonderful super chat. We are about to hear the absolute truth, and his words can't be twisted to fit a narrative. Isn't that the truth? Because this is what it's all about right here. This is not a forced confession from Stacey Wondra. He did contact law enforcement, and we'll get into that in a minute. But right now, we're going to dance. Thank you so very much for that amazing super chat. Let's see who is in the house. We've got beautiful moderators here. Sarah, thank you so much for coming in. Missing persons around the world. I see Miss Callie Dime is also here. Thank you so much for coming. Please thank my moderators. They do such a wonderful job. They come in and help out for nothing at all. Shannon is also here. Thank you, hun, for being here. I just saw Mama pop up in chat. Hello, Brandy. Miss Brandy just had a birthday. She says justice is coming. That is facts. Thank you for the gift to Sammy. Justice is coming. And, you know, no matter what these suspects think, they're coming. Purple's in the house. Thank you so much, love, for coming in. Rhonda is here. Hello, hello, Rhonda. Thank you for being here. And let's see, we got Beverly Lawyer is here. Yankee Kyle is here. Olive Eva is here. Thank you so much for coming in, you guys. Baby Kisses is in the house. Thank you for coming. Let's see. Miss Demeanor is in the house. Thank you so much for coming. And let's see. Mama B JB 4300 is here. Hello. We've got Sis Lynn is here. McSporin from Scotland is here. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining from all over the world. Justice is coming, you guys. Justice is gonna come. Beautiful effing disaster. Love it. Thank you all for your true facts. You are welcome. Brandy says, good evening, Sammy. Good evening, everyone. I am so glad you are all here. We appreciate every single one of you. We do. We are all part of Monkey's Army, and, you know, we're never going to stop. Thank you guys for coming in, for supporting the Vaughan family, for supporting Michael Joseph Vaughan. Toasters in the house. Thank you for coming. The Real ICU is here. Baby Kisses send a super chat, said, thank you, Sam, for keeping up the good fight. And thank you for being a member and always being here in chat, Baby Kisses. I really appreciate you. Let's dance. I really do appreciate the super chats. Let's see, am I missing anybody? I don't think I'm missing anybody, but oh, Lady Spitfire is here. Thank you for coming in. Always nice to have you, hun. Darzilla is here. Justice for Michael Vaughan. Give Brandy and Tyler their son back. Absolutely. Opal is here. Thank you so much for coming. She leaves us a message today. It says, every storm runs out of rain. Your rainbow is coming. You're tougher than the toughest days. You matter, and you matter to us too, Opal. Thank you so much for everything you do. We love you here at Missing PNW for everything. just your kindness always. All in the Tanks is here. Good to see you. You know, Monkey's Army, I don't think has ever been stronger. We've got Kimberly Man. Thank you so much for coming in and hitting that like button. She's number 14. Let's see how many thumbs up we can get by the end of the live. All that really helps get the information out into the algorithm. And tonight we'll be going over new information. Karen is also here. Thank you so much for coming. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here for Monkey. Chaos Queen, been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much for being a member and part of Monkey's Army. Let's just celebrate her being a member for 3 months. Right, you guys. So first, I just want to talk about a couple of things. Friday is Stacey Wondra's hearing at district court. He's going to have to plead guilty or not guilty. It got moved from the 15th to 3rd of April. I will not be covering that on Friday unless something extraordinary happens, like say Stacey Wondra does know where Michael is and decides to make a deal. Brandi's going to keep me posted on what happens at the hearing. And if anything big comes out of it, I will let you guys know. Otherwise, I won't be talking about that. I'm not going to be home. I'm leaving to go see my grandbabies up north while my husband has to work for the weekend. So, yeah, I'm not going to be home. I'm going to go spend some Easter, spend some family time with my grandbabies. But if anything big comes out of that, I am taking my computer with me and I'll report on that. So I'm going to be going live today and Thursday. And then we'll be back to go over more of the new confessions. And the way this is going down is today we'll be hearing the first part of JUANITA Kelleher's testimony. She gives testimony, and then there's long hours of footage in the new confession footage. Hold on one second, you guys. Sorry, I had to tickle. There's lots of hours worth of the confession footage, and JUANITA Kelleher gives testimony after the new confession footage also. So that is to come. And then there's the FaceTime with Stacey's mother. And then that's pretty much the end of the preliminary hearing. So we should get to the end of the preliminary hearing next week. I had an issue trying to download a video that's 2 hours and 47 minutes. I almost lost everything last night that was on the hard drive that I was given with the with the USB cord. And I'm not joking when I tell you I freaked out. I did not know what I did. A computer dinosaur like me should never get into advanced settings in their computer, and I did, but I saved it, and yeah, almost lost it all. Not good. I was freaking out last night. What we were talking about earlier, Stacey Wondra contacts detectives on the 5th and the 10th of 2022 to discuss Michael Vaughan's case and give them information. And the footage that we're going to be seeing on Stacey Wondra is from November 11th of 2022. And this information is what prompted detectives to serve the warrant at the Wondra's house at 1102 Red Wing and start to look for Michael Vaughan when they started excavating that backyard. We all know why we're here. Thank you so much for coming in, hun. We're here to talk about Michael Joseph Vaughan. We're here to talk about the people responsible for Michael's abduction and murder. Michael was abducted July 27th of 2021 by 4 people. Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Adrian Lucien, and Brandon Shurtleff. Stacey Wondra has a trial. He does have a court date Friday. Stacey Wondra has given up a lot of information, and it's not to the point of a false confession. That's why Stacey Wondra is really mad right now. He's really, really mad. He has been cussing up a storm about me, I guess, and early this week, he wanted somebody to give him money to get an attorney so that he could sue me for putting out this preliminary hearing. He doesn't like it at all. And all I have to say is, wah, 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 Stacey. Really. And that just lets me know that there are people in the back watching and giving Stacey information, which is okay with me. Let him be aggravated. That does nothing but appease me. And if he wants to sue me, go for it. He would have to talk about Michael Vaughan and prove that anything I have had to say is false information. Sarah Wondra will be charged. There is already a probable cause affidavit. She'll be released from prison October 26th or October of 2026, and she will be arrested for first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Adrian Lucien, he's blocking people, unblocking people, talking to people, not talking to people. He all of a sudden decided to crawl out from under a rock, but Brandon Shurtleff has decided to crawl under a rock. Brad Ziegler deletes his Facebook, deletes his TikTok account. No one's heard anything from him, but we know you're watching, Brandon. And I've got some information coming out on you too, as soon as I can get all that information put together. So keep your eye out, Brandon, because you cannot run and hide. Matter of fact, as we're going through this testimony and Stacey's new confessions, you're going to hear about how JUANITA KELLEHER talks about the fact that you talked to her about a red Marlboro duffel bag. And then you asked, did you find it yet? We're also going to hear things like, why did Brandon Shurtleff see Sarah and Stacey Wondra put a duffel bag in the crawl space or the basement? Brandon, the testimony given by people, by detectives, things that are going to be said directly involve you. Also, Adrian Lucien, you're not the only, Brandon's not the only one. They talk about you in court also. They talk about how you hollered at Michael Vaughan. You're the boss. Shut up. Which, by the way, trigger warning for people that are sensitive. Please protect your mental health. As we're moving forward tonight, moderators, if you guys could just put up some trigger warnings every now and then. A lot of the stuff that Stacey Wondra said is disturbing, and I just want everybody to protect themselves. Somebody out there has information about Michael Joseph Vaughan's abduction, and you could even have information about his murder. If you know anything, please say something. The tip line phone number is 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. Let them decide if your tip is credible enough. It could be the tiniest little thing. You could even think it's a rumor. Please call it in. These suspects like to talk, whether it's on social media or in person. They like to brag about the things they're getting away with. Isn't that crazy? So call in the tip. Help Michael Vaughan. He was only 5 years old when he was abducted and murdered. He had just turned 5 years old And it's time for justice. And just because Stacey Wondra's trial is coming up doesn't mean that new information cannot be turned in. Adrian, Lucian, a message for you. I know you want to talk about what happened to Michael Vaughan. I know that you do. I know that you do because you're constantly talking to people. And they're coming at you really, really hard. But I know that you are trying the best you can when you're thinking about Michael, when you're feeling bad for what happened to Michael, to reach out to people. You're crying for help. Please, please talk to somebody. Tell somebody what happened. Call law enforcement. Message me. Message the other people that you're talking to. We know you feel bad. We want to hear your side of the story. It's so very important. Don't live with this sitting on your shoulders for the rest of your life. Don't sit there and let your mom watch you do nothing. Let your mom be proud of you and stand up and do the right thing. Please, Adrian, you're reaching out all the time. Please talk to somebody. We need your help. You could be the only person that come forward and tell the truth. And Brandon, time's running out. TikTok, we know you know where Michael is. It's only a matter of time. Somebody is going to make a deal and you're going to miss out on it. And you, my friend, are going to go to prison for the rest of your life and possibly get the DP because you were ignorant enough not to take the plea deal that was already offered to you this time last year up in Montana. I don't know what you're thinking. I do not know why you think you can run and hide. You've already given up information. Law enforcement knows you have involvement. You either take that deal and get whatever you can get, or spend the rest of your life in prison. And this isn't a threat. This is fact, Brandon. I still ain't got that paperwork yet. BRANDI ain't got no paperwork yet. Maybe you should get a new attorney, pay for a new attorney, because he doesn't seem to be working very hard if we haven't gotten paperwork yet on that lawsuit. If anybody has any information, you can report your tip anonymously. If your information leads to the location of Michael Joseph Vaughan, you can even receive a reward for over $50,000. The tip line phone number is 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. Please, somebody help bring this baby boy home so that he can be laid to rest. Justice is coming without doubt. It is coming. So the video that I'm going to go over tonight, that we're all going to go over, it's about an hour and 26 minutes long. And I figure since we'll probably pause here and there, we'll be here for about another 2.5 hours. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. We'll see. Misdemeanor. It's hard to believe that Stacey has more of a conscience than Brandon, Adrian, or Sarah. At least he has said things. Come on, Brando. Stacey, more of a man than B-Dog? Exactly. Justice is coming. Thank you again for a wonderful super chat. Justice is coming says, Adrian, you're trusting them with your life and they tried to get rid of you out once. Don't make sense to me. They want you gone. Don't trust them with your life, buddy. Right? They have come after you, Adrian, and you have a chance. You have a chance to get out of it all, because just like Brandon, if you don't start coming and talking about things that we know you want to talk about, because you are constantly blocking, unblocking, blocking, unblocking. You're unblocking because you want to talk. So let's just talk. Thanks again for the super chat. Let's do a little dance. Psycho in the house, thank you so much for coming in. Chuck Anderson's granddaughter is here. Thank you, love, for coming. Hey everyone, Purple will cover the court proceeding on Friday on the round table. As soon as I have the information, I will get it straight to Purple. Nice, thank you so much for that. I'll probably be able to show up depending on if I'm driving or not. But that's awesome. Like I was saying, this information is what prompted detectives to go serve the warrant at the Wondra's house at 1102 Red Wing so that they could start looking for Michael in the backyard. And just like you always hear J.D. Huff say, upon entry, Sarah Wondra is arrested for failing to report a death, and later these charges were dropped without prejudice. Without prejudice means they can go back and charge her for this again. Why were they dropped? Because of a speedy trial. She was already in prison serving time for the Tanner Butler and the Pew Pew incident and the assault. So that in itself keeps her in prison, and then they can come back and charge her again for failing to report. Thank you so much, Chuck Anderson's daughter. She's gifted 1 membership. Thank you very, very much. If you've received that membership, please thank Chuck's granddaughter. Let's do a little dance. I really appreciate that, hon. Angela is here. Thank you so much for coming in. So this is what is said in the affidavit that was put out right after they went and served the warrant. It says, officials said Sarah Wondra maintained that she definitely did not kill that boy and that the Most High God already told me who did it. She reportedly told police, oh, wow, the Most High God just told me that Stacy was the one who killed him and buried him in the yard of the neighbor's house. When asked later to show police where the boy was buried, according to the affidavit, she told police of a spot near the entry of her residence and said Stacy had buried him in the backyard by the shed. Police said that by that point, they had begun hand digging a portion of the Wondra's yard based on information received from Stacy, who had not been arrested or charged by Monday afternoon. It wasn't clear when or why police had spoken with Stacey Wondra. And this is the confession footage we're going over. This is what Stacey Wondra told the police at this time. Sarah Wondra was arrested and told police, God just told me that Stacy was the one who did it, adding that she knew the body was in the neighbor's yard because that's what Stacy just told me. She then corrected herself and said that's what God told her, according to the affidavit. So there you have Sarah Wondra playing a lunatic, at one point telling the truth that Stacy told her, and then at another point saying, oh, God told me Stacy did it. She allegedly reiterated to police that she had nothing to do with Michael's disappearance. She said her husband buried Michael in the backyard by the shed, but wasn't the one who actually harmed the boy. She said instead that a man identified only as Adrian had been the one who had done it, and he was scared to tell somebody. Adrian, what were you scared to tell? I think that's a very strange comment by Sarah, that Adrian was scared to tell somebody. I think, Adrian, you're scared to tell somebody anything that you saw. And Stacey Wondra says that you and Sarah are the ones who buried Michael in the backyard. Sarah is saying that Stacey buried him in the backyard and that Stacey was the one who murdered him. Pidge is in the house. This is going to be a whole lot of listening to Jabba the Hutt protect the brain pan human. Jabba, I forgot that they used to call him that. Pidge, hello, hello. Pidge, this is Michael Vaughan's older sister here. Thank you so much, hon, for coming in. Nice to see you, love. I'm so proud of you for getting a new car. I don't even have a new car. I mean, I don't know if it's brand spanking new, but I'm proud of you either way. You've been working your butt off. So, yeah, that is the affidavit that was written out after Sarah Wondra was arrested for not reporting the death of Michael Vaughan. It's kind of just crazy. Sarah Wondra and Stacey Wondra are just throwing each other under the bus. This was while they were married. And Stacey Wondra wanted to contact police, tell them what he knew about Michael Vaughan, because he wanted the same deal that Sarah was offered the month prior in October of 2022. So Sarah didn't take a deal that was offered to her. Brandon hasn't taken a deal that was offered to him. Stacey asked for a deal and didn't get it because when they went to go find Michael in the Wondra's backyard, he wasn't there. And that's because Brandon and probably Sarah took Michael from the Wondra's backyard and put him in an unknown location. So definitely a lot going on here. JUANITA KELLEHER is absolutely amazing, by the way, in her testimony. So I'm really glad that, you know, we're going to be able to go over that, and we will find out soon enough whether or not sharing the screen is something that's going to work, because what I did is made the video and then I put it into a private location and put it on private. And I think we're going to be able to watch it. So, yes, the neighbor she referred to was Carson. Matter of fact, we love Nita. I know you guys do. She's an amazing woman. Detectives talked to Carson Starkey and they let police do whatever it is that they wanted to do. They looked over in the Starkey's yard. So Dreamcatcher is here. So good to see you. Hair Curlers and Crime is in the house. Hello, love. I didn't see you come in. Little Kimmy is also here. Thank you so much for coming. And she was the one who got gifted the membership by Chuck's granddaughter. Thank you guys so much. Connie is here. Thank you, hun, for coming in. Absolutely love seeing the new faces here and the familiar faces. Thank you guys all so much. So let's get started. Let me share my screen here real quick. Like I said, use a laptop. The words will be bigger. yeah, the words, the caption will be bigger if you're using a laptop. If not, if you can read from your phone, that's fine, but also turn the volume up. Stacey talks very quietly. It's very, very hard to hear him. And if you're, yeah, it's just very, very hard. We were right there in the courtroom and it was hard for us. And this is the beginning when Juanita Kelleher comes in to give testimony. I'm going to be watching from my other screen and on my phone, but really just want to go over this information here. So here we go.
Third District Court now in session. You are presiding.
Thank you. Go ahead and be seated. All right. So, record now, please?
Yes, we are.
So we're taking up again a matter of State of Idaho v. Stacey Wondra and CR 38251295. I did have a short conversation with counsel this morning. It sounds like it's going to be a pretty full day, primarily with the playing of media. So, but we'll just go ahead and get started. Is the state ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
And the defense?
We are.
All right, Mr. Duke, I'll have you call your next witness.
The state calls Juanita Kelleher.
So Juanita Kelleher is getting called to the stand. I just want to ask everybody, can you guys read the caption? Is everything coming through good? I wasn't sure whether or not everything would come through on a private video. So can you guys let me know? Can you hear it? Okay, thank you guys. All right, we'll continue. Thank you. Let me know if I start echoing and all too, please. The sound is very low on these videos.
Ms. Kelleher, if you'll come down between these tables here and raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and/or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Go have a seat in our witness chair. Once you're seated there, to kind of pull the chair forward a little bit so you're a little closer to the mic. I appreciate that. And you can state your full name and spell your last, please.
Juanita Kelleher, Kelleher.
All right, Mr. Duke, you can begin when you're ready, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Kelleher, what do you do for a living?
I'm a detective for the City of PRELIM Police Department.
Okay, and how long have you been a detective for the PRELIM Police Department?
Approximately 10 years.
Okay, and what are your duties as a detective?
Investigate crimes.
Okay, and in July of, well, do you have any post certificates or trainings?
I am a certified police officer through the state of Idaho. I hold Reserve Post Certificate, Reserve 1 Post Certificate, Basic and Intermediate.
We would stipulate to her qualifications if that saves some time.
Okay. All right, thank you.
In July of 2021, did you embark on an investigation of a missing child?
Yes, I was involved in the investigation.
Okay, and who was the missing child?
Michael Joseph Vaughan.
Okay, and what day did you become involved in the investigation?
July 27th.
Okay, and was that the first day that he went missing?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and where did your investigation start?
I was called approximately 9:30 that night and requested to come back to the police department and assist with staying with the family because we had a missing child. I arrived around 10:20 p.m.
Okay, and were there any concerns initially that he could have walked off or just be missing in like the fields that are near the home or anything like this?
Definitely.
Okay, and did you guys, I guess, what efforts were made to try to locate Michael on the walk-off theory?
We had professional search groups we had volunteers, we had helicopters, we had dogs, we had, you name it, if we could get it, we brought them in to help us. Dogs, you name it.
Okay, and did you guys search the fields and the canals around the property or around where Michael lives?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and did you investigate over, was it maybe to the west down to 8th Street? Did you investigate over in that area?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and did you find any sign of Michael in any of these, in any investigation of the landscape or the geography around where he lived?
No.
Okay, at what point did the investigation turn towards looking for a bad actor?
After we had so many search crews out on foot and everything, we had professional search crews looking for footprints along the roadway to see if maybe he entered a field somewhere. That was never seen. We had dogs. Michael also had a pair of new flip-flops that he wasn't quite used to wearing and that would fall off his feet. That was reported by witnesses who saw him on 9th Street. So he wasn't very good with walking with those shoes. So the likelihood of him walking through a field, especially they were irrigated fields, he would most definitely lose a shoe or something like that. Also, we have video off of 8th Street of everybody coming and going in the neighborhood. That is the main entrance and exit to those subdivisions. He is not seen in those areas. There was approximately 220 cars that passed within the time frame we were looking at. That's roughly a car every 40 seconds. We interviewed all the people that were in those vehicles. Nobody witnessed seeing Michael at that time. We interviewed the occupants of the residences within the surrounding neighborhoods, approximately 300 homes, and we did not find him.
Okay, and so do you know how many suspects or persons of interest there were during the course of this investigation?
Numerous.
Okay, and as you were going through them, was there one group or individual that stood out to you?
Yes.
Okay, and who are those people or individuals?
The residence was at 1102 Redwood Street in Fayette County, Fruitland, Idaho. It belonged to Sarah and Stacey Wondra, who also had 2 other people living with them at the time, Brandon Shirley and Adrian Lucy.
Okay, and is that address in Idaho State?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and Mr. Wondra, Stacey Wondra, is he in the courtroom today?
He is.
Okay, and can you identify him for us?
He is sitting at the defense table, blue shirt and darker blue tie.
And so what drew your attention to that household?
I've reviewed hours and hours and hours of video footage from that time. I was watching for when Kira came home from school. She walked home from school that day and she passed through the splash park. So that was an area that I was focused on. I noticed a white car, a Lexus, pulled into the splash pad. He pulled up and kind of straddled 2 different spots. The driver got out, heavy-set man, walked around the vehicle, reached over and tested the door handle on the passenger side. I could see his head is up and he's kind of looking around. He walked around the back of the vehicle, and as he went to get in, he waved to somebody that was at the park. There were children at the park at that time. I found that odd that somebody that wasn't using the facilities, using the bathroom, seemed to be doing anything other than checking a door handle was at the park during the time directly before a child went missing. I reviewed the neighborhood canvas after I was.
Before you get there, so were you?
So you have Juanita talking about Stacey Wondra getting out of his vehicle and checking the Lexus's handle after Stacey Wondra gets up on YouTube, tells everybody that he got out of the car to get his chew from the floorboard of the car, but yet he doesn't open up the door to get his chew. And then he's seen looking around So looking around for what? Looking around to see if anybody's watching him? What is Stacey Wondra looking around for? And then he waves. And Juanita says that there were kids at the playground. Does that mean he's waving at kids? Because that's what I'm getting out of this. Like, he's waving to kids at the park the day they're all hunting for a child to take. And then there's a rumor that's been going around that police picked Kiara up from school and brought her home, but that's not the case at all. You hear JUANITA KELLEHER here say that she was watching the footage because she knew that Kiara had walked home from school, and that's why she was looking at the footage to begin with. And had it not been for this footage, for this huge red flag that JUANITA KELLEHER says she found very odd, that he wasn't there going to the bathroom. Stacey wasn't there to do anything else, use any of the facilities. He was there in his car, checking door handles, looking around, waving at kids. That red flag is what prompted her to start looking into more of the Wondras.
Able to identify that individual?
Yes, I was.
And who was that individual?
It was a white Lexus, which belonged.
And just to point out, like BRANDI is saying, Stacey Wondra hates her. She doesn't understand why. She's been so nice to him, and he hasn't looked up at JUANITA KELLEHER this whole time right here that they've showed his face that she's been speaking. He's writing and drawing something on that piece of paper. I don't know what it is, but he's not looking at Juanita at all.
Stacey Wondra, and from the video photos and you checking the door handle was at the park during the time directly before a child went missing. I reviewed the neighborhood canvas after I was able.
Before we get there, so were you able to identify that individual?
Yes, I was.
And who was that individual?
It was a white Lexus, which belonged to Stacey Wondra, and from the video photos and YouTube photos, I was easily able to see it was the same person as Stacey Wondra.
And did you ever talk to Stacey Wondra about that?
I did.
Okay, and did he confirm that that was him?
Yes.
Okay, and so, okay, so you see this video, what was the next piece of evidence that
Stacey Wondra admits that that was him at the splash pad.
Drew your attention to the Wondra household?
So I pulled the neighborhood canvas form that was done on August 1st by Boise police detectives. And in that report, it stated that they weren't home that day, that they had gone and then towed a vehicle to Kuna, Idaho, which, as I said, I've watched hours and hours of the video footage. No vehicle was being towed out of the area at that time. I found that inconsistent with the evidence. And so that's what initially drew us to the Wondras.
Okay, and did you, was there any evidence that made you believe that they were in the area at that time?
From the video surveillance, I saw that the white Lexus did leave, and then it returned right, what time was that? I don't want to give a specific time, but it was before the time that Michael went missing, right around 5. And then we saw a vehicle that belonged to the residents leaving at 7:08. And so that would put them in the area at the time. And so that was why we questioned that.
Okay, what was the vehicle that you saw leaving at 7:08?
Maroon GMC pickup.
Okay. And then kind of fast forwarding to later on in the investigation, did you have the opportunity to have an interview with Stacey Wondra?
Yes.
Okay, and where did that interview take place?
We did interviews with Stacey Wondra at Washington County Jail. He was incarcerated for unrelated charges.
Okay. And did you record those interviews?
All those interviews are recorded.
Okay. Here, this is gonna be a little bit clunky at first, but I'm gonna pull up just one. And I apologize, I'm gonna sit down to run the technology here. Okay, and then directing your attention behind you, do you recognize this video?
Yes, and the person in the video you see is Chris McDonough.
Okay, and is this when you went to interview Stacey at the jail?
Yes, at the Washington County Jail in Missouri.
Okay.
So there's going to be 2 detectives joining Juanita in the interview that they do with Stacey Wondra, and Chris McDonough is one of them. I absolutely love Chris McDonough, and Scott Crimmins is the other detective. He is the detective that we spoke about earlier, being the father of the young deputy that found the apology letter, the Thanksgiving apology letter, is Scott Crimmins' son. So just wanted to let you guys know who the detectives are in the room for this interview.
And what prompted that interview?
Stacey Wondra contacted jail staff and requested to speak with detectives about the Michael Vaughan case.
Okay. When you start the interview, does he indicate what it is he wants out of the interview?
He indicated that he wanted the same deal as Sarah did to provide information about Michael Vaughan.
And I apologize again, this is a little bit funky, you have to look behind you. All right, so.
And you have Juanita testifying that Stacey called them in to talk to them because he wanted to give information about Michael, but he wanted the deal that Sarah got, or that Sarah was offered.
So what I've got here is pre-marked as Stacey's Exhibit 12. Are you familiar with these file names? Do those look familiar?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and are the actual file names timestamps of when the videos were taken?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and so taking the top one that's currently highlighted, where it says 2022 underscore 1110 underscore 203348 underscore 004.
Can I pause this for just 1 second? So would it be possible, I mean, I'm watching the Detective Craner neck. Would it be possible to use this other monitor to broadcast this?
No.
I'm okay. I know these videos very well.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Well, just for the benefit of the court, this is something we worked out ahead of time.
Okay.
We have not been able to successfully use this other monitor to keep resolution and fidelity, and so.
All right, no worries.
Okay.
Go ahead then. I'm just trying to practically proceed check. So
we should get past this shortly. Okay, so these series, and then they go numerically, the last numbers there in this folder, they progress from 4 all the way down. Well, you can see there's 20. Are these the files that you recorded during those interviews?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and are those a true and accurate reflection of what occurred during the interview?
Yes, it is.
Okay, this time I'm going to move to admit State's Exhibit 12, which is the confession that occurred on the 10th, or the conversation that occurred on the 10th of November 2022.
any objection from this defense?
No objection.
All right, State's 12 to be made.
Okay.
And just for identification purposes, it's an interview with law enforcement and Mr. Wondra on or about the 10th of November of 2021.
That is correct, Your Honor. And the, oh, sorry, 2022.
Okay.
And the physical form of the exhibit is a flash drive. We can mark the outside of it when we're done here, but contained in this flash drive are going to be 3 exhibits. And so depending on what gets admitted and where we end up, we can delete anything that's superfluous out of there. But
you provided a copy of the flash drive or whatever to the defense?
We've shown them a copy of it.
They have a copy.
We do not have a copy.
They don't have their own copy, but we showed them the contents of the flash drive prior to today's hearing.
I believe we have reviewed all the video. It has been provided to us. It just hasn't been provided to us in a flash drive form.
Do you want it in that format? I mean, is that helpful for the defense? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. You have the most important thing is you have the information, but.
Judge, we have the information. We've been able to review it. I have no concerns at this time.
Okay, good. And one other kind of detail. I appreciate it when counsel stands to speak. I think it's useful, but if for practical reasons, it's easier to sit down and run technology or whatever else. I don't have any objection. I don't perceive it as an act of disrespect if you don't stand up every time you speak. So,
yeah. I apologize, Your Honor. I just because I'm running the computer is why.
Yeah, well, I just don't want you to worry about it.
Okay.
Handle it how you do.
All right. So, Ms. Kelleher, or Detective Kelleher, so you went over there on the 10th of November. Do you remember when that interview concluded, that first one?
When it ended?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
Was it past midnight?
The timestamps will be on the video.
Okay. And did you go back and interview Mr. Wondra a second time?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and do you recall the date that occurred?
I believe it was the 12th,
Okay, would that be the
next day. Well, later on that, yeah.
And then here, I'm gonna queue up one of those videos. Give me just a moment. Hold on, I'll get that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to draw your attention to this. The video that's up there. Oh, you've got a binder in the way. Just a moment. Okay. And do you recall that? Are you familiar with this video?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And is this what is shown in this video?
We were using the in-talk room. That is where Stacey asked to meet. I moved to the back of the room to sit, far back as I can. That way, Stacey doesn't feel like I'm locking the door or anything like that. And we were just getting settled in to speak with him after he requested to talk to us.
And is this the second day that the next day of the interview?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is we did one on the 5th, and this is the one after.
Well, so this would be
the 11th.
11th.
Yes.
And so the first interview took place on the 10th, correct?
The 5th.
Okay, the second interview took place on the 10th.
Yes.
And then so this would be the third interview.
Yes.
Okay. And is this a true and accurate? Have you reviewed these videos?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And is this a true and accurate representation of what occurred during that interview?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, and shown on the screen are a series of files similar to before. The top highlighted one is 2022 underscore 1111 underscore 140912 underscore 001, that entry 4. Is that the way that these videos are saved when you record them?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and it goes all the way down to underscore 017. So does this contain that interview that took place on the 11th?
Yes, it does.
Okay. At this time, the state will move to admit Exhibit 13.
Any objection?
No objection.
13 will be admitted.
Okay, and after you had the interview, that second interview with Mr. Wondra, did you record or did you review any phone calls or FaceTime type calls that he made while he was in the jail?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what I have up here is what's been marked as State's Exhibit 14. Are you familiar with this video?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and who are the parties in this video?
This would be Stacey Wondra and his adopted mom, Cameron Johnson.
Okay, and when does this call take place?
This was after our interview, and then the timestamp's on the video.
Okay, and
It's on the 11th.
okay, and where, how do you access this video?
Through the jail phone call records or through Telmate, they give detectives access to review phone calls. And this is something that we normally do as detectives. This is one of the videos from Telmate.
Okay, so did you download this directly from that?
From Telmate, yes.
Okay. And have you listened to this entire phone call?
Yes, I have.
And is the content of this phone call consistent with interviews that you had with Stacey Wondra?
Yes, they are.
Okay. At this time, I move to admit Stacey Exhibit 14.
No objection.
14 will be admitted.
All right, and then we're going to ask for permission to publish. I just want to put on the record, there was a conference that we had where it was discussed that there was a desire to play the entire videos so that we wouldn't have to chop them up for either party's presentations. And so per that discussion that we had, we're going to move to publish the entirety of these videos, which is a series of files that have all been admitted as exhibits.
Any objection?
No.
All right, so, okay, so go ahead, you'll publish them as you wish, objection to publishing, so I'll just let you kind of manage what to publish first and when and all that.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And then as a practical matter, can we have the detective sit in the jury box area?
Yes.
And then if we need to comment on anything that's going on, then we can ask her to come back. But for the most part, I think there's going to be several hours of viewing these exhibits.
I think that's good. Maybe what we could do is move that mic for the media closer to the prosecutor's table, and then move this mic that's on the lectern to the top of the bar right there, and that way she can be picked up for questions.
All right, yeah, that's over to the state.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's. Yes, so the court report is asking if it's acceptable that she not transcribe the contents of the video.
That's acceptable to the state.
Defense agrees with that.
Or maybe transcribe is not the right word, record the content of the video. All right, and that's stipulated by both the state and the state.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Boynton, one of those light switches operates, these lights are over me. It might make it easier for everyone. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so as we publish these, we're just going to start with the earliest in time and work our way through, just so the record reflects it. It's going to start with the file that has the 11/10 date stamp and is _004, and the concluding video will be the one that ends in 2022 _1111, and the final numbers are _007.
My back so far so good.
Sorry, this is exhibit 12.
12. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Okay. Got this same show as what we did before, okay, because you're here. All right. Yeah, you can't discuss anything about cruiser liner here, okay? Nothing about the gun case. If that comes up, shut down, okay? That's fine. All right. And then again, I gotta read you your rights. All right, Stacey. Okay.
Again, just to let everybody know, it is very difficult to hear. If you're not reading the captions, you're probably not going to hear it. So I would suggest turning your phone way up, maybe even wearing earbuds and or using a laptop to read the captions so you're not squinting on your phone. But he's getting ready to read Stacey's rights. This isn't the first time Stacey's gets read his rights. And he also has to sign a document saying that he's been read his rights and understands everything. And according to what you just heard Scott Crimmins say, like, we're going to shut this down pretty much if you're going to play games. Matter of fact, I want to rewind this little part because it was something I didn't get to hear during the preliminary hearing.
Right.
Trigger warning, lots, please.
Got this same show as what we did before, okay, because you're here. All right. Yeah, you can't discuss anything about cruiser liner here, okay? Nothing about the gun case. If that comes up, shut down, okay? That's fine. All right. And
Scott says something about nothing about a man in a car will shut this down. So I don't know if he had told them a story about another guy in a car or something that they didn't believe him for or some. I don't know. I'd never heard that before till just now.
And then again, I gotta read you your rights. All right, okay. Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't be used against your court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer or advice to the court when we ask you any questions. You're gonna have to let you during the question. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any question. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop answering at any time when you talk to a lawyer. I know I've asked you this before, you read and understand it. English, right? Seems to be quite Spanish.
I just put a bill at the end of everything.
No.
Yeah, like telefonio, you know, paper.
Detectives are laughing with Stacey. He's now signing that he understands his rights. So far has not been forced into doing anything. He claimed that, Stacey claimed that his rights were violated. How, when he was read his rights, he understood them and he's signing them.
Yep, see, it sounds Spanish, right? Something. Okay, before we start, what is this thing? Because that looks horrible.
That's the cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this used to be the end house. When I worked here 1 year ago. And it has a flush system. It just goes it all down in there.
Well, I guess that's one way to clean it out. So what's going on tonight? I heard you want to speak with us.
Well, talk my mom, I guess she's like this light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. She's supposed to be the mayor of information, which is okay. I'll mention that you guys are probably, you were a plea partner, whatever, it's the same thing, I guess. You guys are all considered in exchange for help with my Michael. Like, I don't, like, in the sense of helping to find Michael, I don't have any issue with going out and trying to help locate and search, and, like on that aspect, but I guess I kind of want to know, I know you guys told my mom, like, in what aspects, like, I don't, like I gave you guys pretty, a pretty substantial amount of, when I thought was decent info the last time, you guys talked. It's like, at this point, I don't really have any more at the end of it, I just wanted to know, you tell my mom that you're willing to, get off me some clear understanding. I'm not physically going down, trying to look for it, helping with the search and whatever, or is it just, feeding you guys information, because I've given you guys what I know, like I already know what I thought was valuable information, but I don't have a problem at all with wanting to help with the search, because I want to have this thing. I don't, it's not fair to his mother and family,
So, I don't think that, sometimes it takes a little time for us to go over stories and stuff, especially things that happened to us, and remember everything that's happened. And I don't think you've told us everything yet. And so I think there's probably still some more information that you could help us with. And it would be.
Stacey just got done saying in every way he possibly could that he wanted to go out and help detectives look for Michael.
Depend on what information you had as far as anything like that.
Again, I gave you guys what I had. Like I told you guys last time, I don't have a problem with going and trying to help find this little boy. But as far as knowledge of his whereabouts or, where, I've given you guys what it could be. I've talked about, what I've seen about. That's literally like what I have. I want to have more so I can help find this little boy. But that's why I'm literally like, I want to do this eye test because I really think you guys, I get, as you said, well, what if you fail? Are you still, I'm not going to fail. That's what it's like. I know for a fact, and however you guys want to see it, that's, you guys are detectives, you guys do your thing or whatever, but like, I'm just the person who's trying to help find this little boy in which way I can, just like I was doing on the house. I mean, I don't think you guys understand, I don't have what you're looking for. And I think once we do the eye test, you guys are gonna be like, well, you really wasn't lying. Like, and that's my point I'm trying to make is like, I get you guys have your diligence and your job to do and whatnot, but I'm also telling you as someone, I've given you guys what I can, but I also know that there's a certain point beyond and above the, you get stuck at a point where you don't have anything else to relay. And when I'm telling you I don't have anything else to relay, I don't have anything else to relay. It's not that I don't want to give it to you. It's not that I don't want to cooperate. I mean, for you guys down here, I wouldn't, give you guys information, of what I've recollected if I didn't want to cooperate.
Brandy, I do not know about you, but having these captions is so much better than trying to hear Stacey Wondra in that courtroom. I think I probably missed so much. These captions are helping so much understand exactly what Stacey was saying. We could not hear in the courtroom, you guys. Like, it was so hard to hear Stacey. He is just denying that he has anything else to give them. We were in the courtroom. So this is the second day of the preliminary hearing on March 4th. All the other testimony was from the first day. This is the second day, and we were in the courtroom for over 9 hours listening to this footage. I'm hearing so much more. Brandy says, when we did that, we were open up to so much that had been going on in Michael's case, and so much made sense. Looking back, I wasn't even a fraction of what they have. This is just crazy. I'm all like engulfed into these words, you guys. If you're watching from a phone, you can try blowing that up so you can see the caption. I don't know if you guys are having a problem with it all, but man, reading what he is saying is blowing my mind. He wants to go search for Michael and just constantly saying he has nothing else to give. And I believe, like Callie was saying, that he's just fishing for information here. And when he realizes he ain't getting anything, he starts talking.
If I didn't want this little boy to be found, just trust me, I want him to be found. Like, I have many nieces and nephews. I've got friends that have got little boys, little kids. And it's like, to be labeled as that one person, which is what I'm being labeled as. I mean, that I'm sure as anybody else, it gives yourself a bad name.
And here's Stacey being upset because he's being labeled as a bad person. He is a bad person. He didn't make a 911 phone call and say his wife came in with Sarah. He did nothing to save Michael. Nothing. That makes you a bad person, Stacey.
That's why I want to go through and do this whole eye test thing. I want to see what you guys are trying to offer, because I feel like once I complete the eye test and you guys see that he really hasn't lied to us. I mean,
and he's trying to convince the police to give him an eye retina test, just like the one that Brandy and Tyler had that they passed. And I believe even Papa had the eye retina polygraph test. All three of them passed.
I really feel like with all the stuff that I've had to go through, like I still should be like negotiated or given a deal to, because of the information I have related to you guys. Even though it's not, you guys think it's not everything I know, what I've given you is what I've given you. But I still feel like.
And he feels like, because of all the information that he's already given them, he should be able to get this plea deal because of everything that he's gone through. Wow.
Being put, in this position when you're gonna find out that I'm not lying. That's where this is at. Like, I would never. There's more things you don't fuck with in my life. My friends, my family, my friends as kids, money or food. Food being the fourth one. I work with this second, but I literally am a very, very, very firm believer in those things. And
The four most important things to him, fourth being food, really? That's the fourth most important thing to him. His family, his friends, money, and food. Money being on the top 4 list.
To mess with somebody else's life like that, with like what's happened, is completely beyond anything on. I mean, it's real, it's happened, but it's unreal to me that I'm having to sit here and face, yeah, you guys have, your what about your investigation, your energy stuff, or whatever it is. But as somebody who was not and hasn't been a part of that particular situation, I don't know, like, I want to help you guys as much as I can, but I don't have anyone else to fork up. I just know that you guys told my mom, he was willing to help, within the search or whatever, so I asked my mom, what are the parameters? And she doesn't want to talk to them, so I was like, okay. And that's why I called you guys, because it's like, I mean, even after this whole testing thing, like that I want to do with you guys, and if it comes back like I'm telling you the truth, and I haven't lied, then I still want to work a negotiation or something out with you for having to go through what I've had to go through in this longer process. It doesn't, and I talked to Sarah a couple of days ago. I don't know if she told you, but I asked, I told her, I said, why is all this, what's all this stuff going on with,
You hear him stuttering so much trying to come up with a story here, because he said that he talked to Sarah a couple weeks ago, and then he just starts stuttering. He's trying to figure out something smart to say.
oh God, and this whole, I mean, I was appalled when she was like, well, I'm literally here, I'm talking on the phone to you with fire in my eyes, and I literally died a couple days ago, and God put me back to be a prophet, prophesied something. Whatever.
Sarah said that God brought her back to be a prophecy. Apparently, she said she died and came back, and God makes her a prophet.
Sorry, it's whatever. By David Baldacci, but it's just like, and then she goes, well, I'm not talking to the detectives about she goes, I'm not training on you like they're saying that they're going to. I don't believe her. I don't, great if she isn't. She can turn on me all she wants. I have nothing, she knows damn well I have nothing to do with anything. And so I can let her, she's going to do what she's going to do. I don't know if she already was speaking to or not.
You guys remember me reading and talking about the probable cause affidavit, and in it there was a conversation between Sarah and Stacey and how they promised each other that they weren't going to turn on one another. And when Sarah was asked who they were talking about, she said Michael Vaughan. He is going over that conversation right here that he's saying he had with Sarah, and that he doesn't know if she's going to tell on him for anything, but he doesn't have anything for her to tell anybody about because I didn't do anything.
Honestly, I don't really care. I don't trust her as far as I can know her. And that's never going to change. After the shit that I've heard from you guys and what she's done behind my back, I mean, not meaning, or mind you, you know, some of the stuff that I've done behind your back, you know, wasn't exactly faithful, but if you had to be in a predicament, some of the situations that I've been in with her, and being held at gunpoint, you know, being held at, you know, with a butcher knife to your throat, I mean, you wouldn't exactly probably be the happiest, you know, your relationship. I mean, I can't speak to one another, but, you know, it's hard to, I mean, to just wrap my mind around, you know.
We're going to take a minute break. I'll be right back. Just going to break. Go ahead and keep chatting and chat. I'll be right back. Sorry, you guys. I didn't want to miss anything. See something real quick. Sorry, hold on just 1 second. Okay. Here we go.
She's the fact that she knows something. And just mind-blowing. You know, I'm the type of person that if I knew something, even at the start of all this shit, that's not something I would ever keep a secret. Taking a little boy, taking a kid from his family, yeah, I would kill somebody allegedly if somebody did that to my family. And it's just, that's what I'm saying. I want to help you guys, but I don't have any information. I just know I'm all you know, you guys had some sort of plea deal that you guys proposed there. And I mean, I'd like to propose the same thing where the, you know, this testimony is back the way I know it's going.
So with Sarah and with you, the only way that I'm gonna make a deal is if I can find my phone. That's the only. And I'm not asking you to go search. I want you to tell me where he's at. And that's the only deal I'm gonna do. It seems like in the beginning of this investigation, there was a little bit of apprehension about her telling us what was going on. You know, right after Michael's disappearance, the agents that went over to you guys, the officers.
And you just hear Juanita tell Stacy, the only deal you're gonna get is if you say where Michael is, pretty much.
We really didn't get a very good idea of what was going on at that time. And so those were some of the things that have bothered me, and hoping that maybe if you do want to help me, that you would be 100% truthful with me about everything, no matter what it is. And so,
in aspect of what was going on at the time he disappeared. I'll tell you that I'm not gonna go into full specific dates thing because obviously I suck. Not by intention like that. Clearly, it hasn't been accurate. So I'm not even going into dates, but at that time, Sarah and I hold
He is stuttering over his words. Juanita wants him to talk about the day that Michael went missing and what they were doing, and you're going to hear a lot of stuttering because that's what Stacey does when he's trying to think of something to say. And he's already getting mixed up. He was like, I'm not good at telling you guys. I've already kind of messed that up. Not in the exact words, but that's what he's telling Juanita. Like, he's just not sure what to tell her because he's already messed that up before.
Child thing, one of the child. Sarah and I utilized multiple people, or multiple. Oh, with me, it was just BRANDI, Jesse. After figured out that it was working with Jesse, and then BRANDI came to the picture.
was this specifically for a child, or did you guys just have like an open relationship where you didn't have sex?
What I wanted was specifically for a child.
What did Sarah want?
She made it seem like she wanted just a different child too. But after hearing the whole stories of oral sex, aging, and sexual relations, I guess, with other people that I don't even know, she had sexual relations with, that makes me believe otherwise. I mean, yes.
Stacey Wondra gets up on his YouTube shit show talking about how he didn't want kids and everything, and here he's saying that he wanted kids, and Sarah said that she wanted kids too, and that's why Sarah is sleeping around with Brandon, but he mentions other things going on between them and even says dates. So he's saying they went out on dates together.
Sarah and I have had quite a few unbelievable moments. A lot of the unfaithful moments evolved around our relationship. We aren't, and weren't happy. I stayed in it because I thought things could be better. And it just, as my mom told you, she's my mom, I've been through it at group homes and, different places. And we don't mind what my mom told you, she was like, I told him, time and time again, I advised him, you should not, shouldn't help him.
Well, what else was going on at that time?
As far as
The whole situation, what was going on in that household?
there was a lot of tension. I mean, there was just with Sarah and I, and then, we started helping out. It was realistically, what was weird about it is we didn't start helping people out until after this little boy disappeared, which would make sense in a sense of Sarah trying to get out of her feelings or Sarah trying to cover up. Again, like the whole whole aspect of her, and, sorry, the conversation we had last week, it wouldn't surprise me, again, like I said, knowing, well, I guess not so much knowing, but like with her going on this rampage, oh my God, and, none of this stuff started happening until after this little boy went missing. Like, I had never seen her go into this whole realm of, come now's the time to move forward and confess your sins to God.
Well, what else was happening in the house at that time? Or was that it?
I mean, there was a lot of, other aside from like side gigs and stuff like that, we did a lot of taxi rides for people. There was a lot of transport people back and forth before they could go. Probably people working in Hotel 6 once they Robin, she's ready to and on my own for good probably 3 months, 4 months transfer back and forth afterward.
So when Adrian came in, about how long until when Michael went missing?
I'd say when Adrian came, it was probably Adrian was with us for about a month and a half. It was.
So Stacy's saying here that Adrian was with them for about a month. I find that interesting because we've heard so many different times, but we still never know when Stacy's telling the truth. Yeah, exactly, Kelly. By not saying Michael's name, he is trying to distance himself. Absolutely, positively. He cannot say Michael's name. I haven't heard him say Michael one time. And this is the BS that we heard for hours and hours and hours. Only my daughter is texting me right now. She's in chat, but we've got our computers reading. We've got our chat to sit over here and look. I'm right up at the computer watching every word because you really just couldn't hear inside the courtroom. So now I'm actually kind of reliving this whole thing by reading his words. It's crazy.
Probably not even 2 or 3 weeks to give time for witnessing.
Do you remember the incident?
Did he just say something about a 2-year time frame? Back up. What did he just say?
So when Adrian came in, about how long until when Michael went missing?
I'd say when Adrian came in, it was probably Adrian was with us for about a month and a half. It was probably not even 2 or 3 weeks to give time for witnessing.
Do you remember the incident with a pizza person trying to?
First he says 1 month, then he says 2 to 3 weeks, and then he says 2-year time frame. What the heck is that supposed to mean? So Adrian was going back and forth to the Wondra's house for a 2-year time frame? I hope you guys don't mind, but I'm about to rewind this again because that is crazy. I want to... Yep, sorry you guys.
So when Adrian came in, about how long until when Michael went missing?
I'd say when Adrian came in, it was probably Adrian was.
I'd say when Adrian came, it was probably Adrian was with us for about a month.
It was probably not even 2 or 3 weeks.
It was probably not even 2 or 3 weeks.
2-year time frame.
2-year time frame. When he went missing.
Do you remember the incident with a pizza person and a?
Okay, so, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So Sarah, and it was just Sarah, and I think that we were at the house at the time, I think, I'm quoting, but Sarah did order something pizza, and a couple days prior to we had someone try to open up our door, and but we opened it locked, and she
I have no idea what it means, you guys. That's all new information to me. Like I said, I'm hearing some of this stuff for the first time because we had such a hard time listening. But he says 1 month, 2 to 3 weeks, 2-year time frame. And now they're talking about the pizza delivery guy, which, by the way, we had found. I talked about this before. Sarah threatens with a pew-pew a pizza delivery guy just shortly before Michael's disappearance.
ordered a pizza for us and some breadsticks and whatever. So, and the guy came with her pizza, and she asked me, she goes, "Did it just sound like something you tried to open the door?" And I go, "Yeah, it sounded like it." But again, you know, when the screen door, we would grab it and let it go really quick, spring. And that's what it kind of sounded like before. So I was like, "Yeah, it kind of sounded like it." So she got up in this guy's face. He's like, "Don't ever fucking try to, or don't ever fucking try to come to our house again, or you can get shot, or whatever." Yeah. And I even told Sarah, I said, "You just hold the litter." I said, and I said, even though, I said, I even told her, I said, even though it sounded like he was trying to break in or whatever, I said, you don't sit there and don't threaten someone like that. I said, it's their job. I said, if you get action, you're not deliver this for quite a while before I address it. It doesn't matter.
So was Adrian living there at that time?
I'm trying to remember. It was around that same time.
What's making you think that?
Just with all the behavior and how everybody was acting, how everybody was acting in the house. It seems like it would be around the same time as we both.
So the day of the event, it looks like we saw you at the splash pad. Is there anything that you haven't told us about that day?
Not that I can recall, like I said, I remember specifically stopping the splash pad, which I don't know why, I just thought it was more target spot. I didn't think it was a target. Like I said, I thought it was a catch you, and that's why I went there.
Where was Sarah at that time? Do you remember what was going on that day or what you guys had planned that day?
No, we didn't talk about, I mean, we briefly discussed it, I think in the morning, but we didn't really affirm things to go on the record car. Until later on.
So when you came back from the taxi ride, you came back in the neighborhood, can you start by telling me everything that happened when you got there?
Right, after
holding it.
It was just, I mean, there's no more activity, I mean, people, they're walking, they're watching whatever. Pull in, I remember seeing there's an old guy that has 2 dogs that you had taken the route to go off to the right, I think, or Partridge. Oh, but connection to that. Connection to that.
Okay, you went in front of like Kate's house or the other side?
Yeah, but I just went straight and said,
Okay, so when you got home, then what?
it was just, I was hungry, I was going to go for food. And I got offered some shrimp and meat. After that dishes of the sink or whatever, we were eating at the party. Nani was coming. Nani was drunk. And we Brandon and Sarah discussed what we were going to do. And Brandon said he wanted to really wanted to go to this party. So we decided we would do that.
That night, did you see Michael at the house? Did you see anything that would now make you believe that there's a possibility of Michael's at the house?
I didn't see it, but tricycle issue, that's like I just said, you guys said that there was a tricycle sitting on some homeless stuff on homeless boxes. And I did this tricycle. I thought, of course, why would I do it? You know, so it just didn't make sense. So I never thought, look, my routine was to go to, I always come into the garage, walk through the wall, go through the laundry room entrance into the house, and shut the door. Those are my system. Cats, so there's I have a laundry, there's close the laundry door in the garage.
So there's a gap between the time you got home and the time you guys left that night. And so it looks like you got home around 5 and you left at 7, roughly 7. So that's 2 hours. So in amongst those 2 hours, you ate. I would assume probably not take you very long to eat. Don't take me very long, 10 minutes maybe. And you guys had a discussion about the car, but there's a lot that's going on in that time frame that you're not talking about. I'm just talking, there's 2 hours there, and so there's a lot of things that could happen in 2 hours. So there's got to be some type of movement in the house, or somebody doing something, or conversations happening.
I think Adrian and Sarah were trying to work on ways to do something. The whole.
I just wanted to clear something up in chat. So this pew pew incident with the pizza guy, what happened is the guy came. Sarah thought somebody was trying to get in the front door. This is according to the police report, okay? Sarah thought somebody was trying to get into the door. I don't know if she didn't know the pizza guy was coming or what. And when she opens the door, I don't know if she pulled the pew pew out or what, but I do know that she threatens him at some point, and there was even a call to the pizza delivery place that if he came back, she thought he tried to open up the door handle to come into the house was what it was. And she called the pizza delivery place and told them that if he ever tried doing something like that again, she was going to use the pew pew. That's what it was. I don't think that she got it out and actually pointed it at him. I did go over that in a live. It was a live that was only on Sarah. If you're interested in watching it, some people are asking, what the hell is Stacey talking about? Stacey talks about a lot of crazy stuff. But he was going over how he would go in and out of the house when he would come and go. He would always go through the garage. And then before that, he was talking about some party that they were all going to go to because Brandon had said that he wanted to go to this party. Juanita is stopping him like, hey, there's this big gap. You're saying this is what was going on at one time, and you're saying this is what was going on early in the day, but there's this huge gap. Can you fill it in? Stacey goes all over the place. Have you guys even ever heard of a party that they were supposed to go to? No. Why? Because he created so many stories during this footage. So many stories. And now they're talking about the Snapchat that was created to make fake profiles. Adrian and Sarah were the ones doing this Snapchat. And this is, like I said, if you guys aren't watching or reading the captions, you're going to miss out on a lot because you really cannot hear what Stacey's saying.
But as far as any other conversation, it's just, I don't recall having specific conversations.
Where were they at when they were working on that? And what were some of the things that they were saying?
Just Adrian was asking her if she would be willing to help him, help him create a profile and try to scheme money on people. And that he was split them. He would give her some.
And what?
So they're sitting there, they're making fake profiles.
What is the game of that? What were they doing?
He wasn't like that.
What were they doing on the iPad? How, I
They
mean,
downloaded Snapchat. They downloaded a picture from or something like that for a profile. He's a girl. And I don't remember who was a picture of a girl.
Big yawn right there tells me he could be lying, but he's saying that Adrian and Sarah worked together to create this profile, and that Adrian told Sarah, if you help me make this profile, you know, you can get some incentives. And they're using some picture that they find on an internet to create this fake Snapchat. And he says he didn't know what their intentions were other than trying to scam them for money.
and what were they doing? Were they, you know, with that photo on the Snapchat?
Well, just offered or asked sexual favors, offered sexual favors.
Like what?
And it says right here that they were asking or talking about S pictures to, you know, send back and forth S pictures for money was the why the account was created. So first he didn't know why the account was created, and now he's saying that it was for S pictures, S talking to make money.
Offered to prices around that they can should be more pricey than that. You know, we don't really offer prostitution or whatever you would call it, you know. We don't offer prices.
Were they offering locations?
They were offering stuff like ladies of the night and offering prices. Interesting.
Meet out for this, or how far in
I
depth
don't
did they
think
really
they
get?
went to the location wise, it was after, I think it came to after they sent the money.
And how much money did they get?
I think they
And so after they would send the picture off, then they would create like a location to like meet up. So then it goes from it was just going to be as pictures, as talking. Now it's actually we're going to meet up and take your money. See how many times he's already changed his story and just talking about this Snapchat thing. The more Juanita gets him to talk, the more he starts talking about. Because at first, he didn't have a clue why they were making fake profiles.
to my knowledge, it was $50. And that was only one time I remember hearing about it. But there could have been other times when I just didn't know about it.
And now he's saying he doesn't even know if they got any money. They were good at lying about people like that. So he wasn't sure if they were getting money or not. He was starting to try to backtrack here.
And Sarah wasn't exactly, she wasn't a hot shot on us.
What was Brandon doing?
I know he was in the house.
Where were you at?
I think that was either in the original or I was again. But I know I was home.
So, and he's saying that he was at home and Brandon was on the couch that night after saying he didn't know where Brandon was. Where was Brandon? I don't know. Oh, I think he was on the couch. It's just, this is crazy. Yeah, here Girlers in Crime said he sure did know a lot for not knowing nothing. And Diana says it is possible that M was buried on the opposite side of the fence in the next yard. No, they looked for Michael. They know he was in the Wandra's backyard. Right, Shannon, I'm calling BS. He did not know if they got any money. Exactly, because what's the 4 top most important things in his life? Friends, family, money, and food, right? Here, Curlers in Crime says he looks wildly uncomfortable, self-soothing, and rubbing his hair. Yeah, I mean, I paid a lot of attention to his body movements while we were listening to him at the preliminary hearing. And now I'm trying to focus more on the words. But yes, if you guys can watch, go back, re-listen to all this, and you can watch his mannerism. You can read the words, the way he rubs his head around in circles and circles, playing with his hair, visibly moving his body back and forth, the way he pauses, the way he stutters. It's obvious that he's uncomfortable. And check out Chris Madonna. You guys noticed he ain't said a word, right? He's just sitting in that corner, completely relaxed, watching everything that Stacey does. The way he moves, the way he talks, taking notes. He knows he is like body language and trying to figure Stacey out, so to say, or so to speak. So he's just so quiet, sitting back in that corner. And all he's doing is collecting information, whether he's talking to Stacey or not. He knows what's true, what's not true. That's what Chris Madonna does best. Watches and figures it out. But he's so damn good at his job. I just love that Chris Madonna was there for this interview.
You don't remember what you're doing?
My activity when I got home, 90% of the time was sit on the couch, either eat, drink, consume food, or sleep, fall asleep on the couch. Falling asleep on the couch was one of the biggest things that I always wanted to do. But fall asleep sitting on, and it's probably something that's been a certain year when I got sleep back, when I got into it.
Did anybody leave the house?
not, if I, maybe somebody did, but I was asleep. Sleep or in the house, I haven't gone out. I've been a lot, but it was only out a few times that day. It was from splashing under that. The taxi driver.
He must have just said taxi 5 times. To taxi, 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 taxi. Because he says, I was just sleeping and I had went to the splash pad and then I had the taxi, taxi. Yeah, because he tries to claim that he had that taxi run, remember, over to Ontario. I honestly don't believe that there even was a taxi ride, because they have him leaving CCTV camera, from what I understand, for the first time at 3:30 when he stops at the splash pad. And that's so much later than he originally claimed that he was at the splash pad, because he gave times anywhere from 1 to almost 2 o'clock. And earlier, when he was asked what he was doing that day, he was saying he was in his room, he was just hanging out, and then it instantly went to, I was sleeping. When we say he changed his story 1,000 times during these interviews, he changed his stories so many times, just like he always has.
Think about it really hard. Anybody laughing at that?
Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon, someone, I don't know what all that was. They will be in the hospital, but.
And walk me through what was going on when they went the productivity.
No specifics. I just know it was. I think Adrian had asked Sarah if he either be a text or a loan or whatever, you know, if you could take us, or she could take us.
And BRANDI brings up a good point too. He also said he had a taxi run in Boise. He also said he went and stayed with and visited with his friend in Boise, Labor Dave, but he went to Payette. And we know he went to the Payette because he went to the skate park in Payette, which is kitty corner from where BRANDI and Tyler worked at the Albertsons then, where Tyler still works. Why did my closed caption stop working?
Other than that, I mean, Sarah's said things in the past before, like, I'm gonna go take this person to do something real quick, I'll get back to it. But I would ask her, what was it do? If she would know. So.
Well, keep going. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on that time.
Just not, I mean, I never was given a specific where they were going. Is that exactly, I'm gonna go take care of something with Adrian real quick, and we'll go back to it.
Why isn't my closed why isn't the caption working? It was like it was working and now it's not. What the hell?
Maybe a half hour.
What did you do during the time that they were gone?
Pretty sure I probably stayed home and slept. Took a nap or something. I always, when I get bored with this load, I always end up trying to catch. Feels high. As you can tell, when you met me, the very first time, I wasn't a very energetic person. That's not a very small person. I'm trying, still trying.
So how did you know that Sarah came back?
The door slam.
Doors slamming, what door?
The wind from the air that the one door catches, so when you open the garage door, after that door shut.
Let's stop sharing for a second. I'll come back in here. I have never backed down from these monsters, and I never will. Brandon Shirtliff, Adrian Lucian, time is running out. The caption is sick from listening to him. It went on strike. Oh my God. That was a good one. That was a good one. Oh my God. Yeah, he babbles so much. Gosh, that was great. Closed caption doesn't want nothing to do with him. Let's hop back over there now and check out to see if captions will work again.
But it's not like slam. It's like it's like a grease door.
Okay. And what did you see when you heard that?
Just stare at you,
Okay. Who was first?
So what about if I do this? Where are we at? 1 hour, 1 minute, 42 seconds. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to click out of this. I'm going to bring it back up, and we're going to try this again because I want those closed captions. I want the captions. It's important. I tried to click settings, love. It was just saying English titles to click settings. Let's see. My channel. All right, we got it back. Yep, I just needed to log out and log back in. So I'll share my screen and we'll go right back. Do you think Justice has a map run of their travels from around that time? I don't know if anybody has a map. I know they have a lot of information from their phones about where they were and what they were doing from that time. All right. So let's get this back out. I'm just going to rewind just a tiny bit since we missed some captions here. I'm going to go back like maybe 5 minutes. All right, let's go.
After that conditions of the sink or whatever, where Adrian and already nodded and we had Brandon and Sarah discussed what we were going to do. Brandon said he really wanted to go to this party. So,
oh, I reminded way too far.
You guys said that there was a person sitting on some homeless stuff on some boxes. And I'd never seen a tricycle box. And I thought, of course, why would I do it? You know, so it just didn't make sense. So I never thought, look, I want my routine is to go to, I always come into the garage.
Stacy says something about seeing dress-up clothes up on top of boxes in the garage, and now he's starting to talk about his routine going in and out of the garage.
Walk through the laundry room, go through the laundry room entrance, go to the house, and shut the door. Those are two-part systems. So there's have a laundry, there's close the laundry door. the garage. So that
So there's a gap between the time you got home
Did I really
and the time you guys left that night. And so
the whole Snapchat. And I think they will work on that a little bit that night. But as far as
did anybody leave the house?
not, if I maybe some years, but I was asleep. Sleep over in the house. I haven't gone out. So I did that a lot, but it was only a few times. And then it was from the splash pad and the taxi driver.
Okay, so we made it back to the spot where we were. Here he's talking about the taxi rides.
Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon, something. I don't know all that was. It will be hospital,
And walk me through what was going on when they got up to leave.
No specifics. I just know it was. I think I asked Sarah, he had text or a long number, whatever, you know, you can take us, or she can take us somewhere, but other than that, I mean, Sarah said that was asking for like, everybody go to.
Callie, that picture was taken in the living room of the Wondras' house. They had their tattoo artist's daughter come over to the house. And Stacey also claims to have gotten a new tattoo right after Michael's disappearance. So I don't know if the little girl was being watched by like Sarah while he went and got a tattoo, or if the tattoo artist came with his little girl. So I don't know if they were watching her, if she was there or what, but that picture was taken at the Wondras' house.
This person would do something a little bit over, not sure, but I would ask her what to do if she would help. So.
Well, keep going. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on that time.
This was not, I mean, I never was given specific where they were going. Is that exactly going to go take care of something? Agent will go back. So
Yes, he does still have that road trip map. He's actually sent me the link. It's just so confusing to go over, and it's already been gone over so many times. But I need to look at it and understand it before I can talk about those maps from Stacey's phone.
maybe a half hour.
What did you do during the time that they were gone?
Pretty sure probably stayed home and slept. Took a nap or something. I always, when I get bored with this own, I always end up trying to catch. Just kills time. As you can tell, when you met me, when the very first time, wasn't a very good person.
And then we lose Cova's connection again.
So how did you know that Sarah came back?
I'm going to do this one more time. I don't think it likes me pausing. So I'm going to come back over here and close out and then go back and pull it up again. Try not to pause as much because it seems that when I pause is when we're having an issue with the captions. So let me get over here real quick. because that sucks. I want to see the captions. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. I just want the captions. You can't hear what he's saying.
That conversation.
First, just earlier, brought it up. It was just hard to look at here, so. After let's calm down, brought it up. Told us that we would go, we would told to his vehicle.
What do you mean that when you guys got home and things calmed down?
No, just like, settle down.
Oh, just kind of relaxed.
Not yet, not like uproar, no, arguments or fighting. It was just all out.
So when they left, do you know if they actually left the property or if they were outside or if they were in a vehicle? Did they walk somewhere? No. And you were showing the.
She had her purse and keys, but she had her keys over there when she goes.
Keys for which vehicle?
I think she had the, she was as her car key, I think she had the truck key. Because I had the car key.
Okay. And you said that she had her purse. What did her purse look like? And where'd she grab it from?
She was at the first she
It's weird. The caption isn't going with what they're saying.
How do you know she had her purse?
She can't remember it.
Oh, okay. So you saw her purse on her when she came in. And what were they saying when they came in? What was it about?
It was just very vague. There wasn't kind of like a conversation with somebody.
What were they acting like?
What the heck is going on? These captions don't even go with what they're saying. When you guys see names that are coming up, if you guys don't understand what it means, it's probably just the caption. And I'm trying to just... This is... Hold on one second, you guys. I got to figure this out because this is going to drive me freaking insane. Sorry about the hiccups. This is ridiculous. Yeah, the caption is not going with it. So we've been here 2 hours and 24 minutes. How about we just pause here since the caption isn't wanting to work, and I'll just keep track of where to start back off on Thursday. So maybe this caption thing will get fixed, because I honestly don't want to go over it, continue to go over it. If we can't see the caption, there's really no reason to, because you're not going to hear what Stacey has to say. And I can always upload this again and we can look at it again. But as you guys can see, Stacey Wondra is nothing but a liar, for one. Two, he's definitely not being interrogated to the point of a false confession. It is clear already that he has been read his rights. He has signed the documents, understanding his rights, and is communicating fine with the detectives. They're not going hard at him. They're not yelling at him. They're just asking questions, and Stacey's just answering them. I mean, yeah, he went on a spiel about how he didn't know anything, but then he realizes his fishing isn't working and he's got to start answering some questions. Juanita let him know, like, if you can't give up Michael, then you're not getting a deal. And that's what Stacey wanted, was a deal. Check, check, and check, check, check. Outdoorsy Live. Thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, all the checks. They are being easy on him. They need to be more aggressive, in my opinion. Well, if they would have been more aggressive than his whole interrogation to the point of a false confession, since he does have mental health issues, wouldn't have worked well, and then Stacey Wondra would have had actual stuff to move forward with, telling his attorneys his rights were violated, they bullied me, they made me cry, oh poor me, Stacey, now I have to tell them something and give them something or they're never gonna let me go. That's what Stacey wanted. This is no false confession. Had they bullied him, he could have claimed they bullied him to a false confession. It is good that they didn't go after him no holds barred, because if they had, he would have been able to use that later on in court. I think that detectives did an amazing job, and you guys will also see, like, Scott Crimmins jumps in and starts asking questions eventually. Chris McDonough starts asking questions eventually. They did an amazing job questioning Stacey Wondra. Amen to that. He is comfortable as can be. Exactly. He is so friggin' comfortable. Well, besides the uncomfortableness, right? He's comfortable while he's talking, but his body language says, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. What else can I say? You know, you hear him stuttering. You hear him changing his stories. He goes from I don't know to giving details, and it's just a back and forth game until they finally start getting what they know are some truths from him, because they are able to know their truth from the evidence that they have, or the evidence that they've seen, or footage, or tips, or whatever it is. And that's very telling. Yes, hopefully it does work Thursday, Connie. I think that it will. I don't know what's going on right now. It's aggravating me. I wanted to get through this entire segment, but we have already been here for 2.5 hours, and the longer the lives, the less the live's going to get watched, which brings less awareness for Michael. So if you guys haven't hit that thumbs up yet, please hit the thumbs up and make sure to hit the notification bells. We will be back, on Thursday. Tomorrow's my Wednesday. I spend that with my grandkids. Everybody knows. All the rumors of a forced confession is now debunked. Don't be an evil. They were so patient, but it was so obvious that he was full of it. Exactly. We've always known Stacey is full of it, always. Misdemeanor says, Samantha, thanks again for keeping those monsters visible to the world. Brandy, you got this, and you're blessed with communities of love and support. Monkey will get justice. Thank you so much for that. I'm just going to keep going, banging it out. We got to do what we got to do. And let me just say, if I know I'm pissing Stacey Wondra off, I know I'm doing the right damn thing, right? We know he's aggravated that I went to the preliminary hearing and that I'm sharing it with the world and he don't like it. And there's a reason for that. Why is Stacey Wondra so aggravated with me? It was all public information the moment that the media started recording that preliminary hearing. Did he think that those cameras were rolling because they weren't going to do anything with it? Really? Yes, they were not allowed to stream it live, but all of the media that was there recording were there for a reason, and that was to talk about the preliminary hearing. Why be mad at me? I think it's great. If I know that I'm poking at Stacey and he doesn't like those pokes, I know I'm doing my damn job, and that's aggravating Stacey Wondra. Lynn, thank you so much for coming in. Been getting lots of messages, been working on a lot of stuff. Even though I was supposed to be breaking this weekend, I actually worked quite a bit in the background. So I did have a lovely break. I did work out in my garden. Saturday, I got a lot of meal prepping and shopping done on Sunday. Starting to plan for my vacation this weekend. I'm really looking forward to go and seeing my daughter, Tabitha. Where's Michael, Brandon, Stacey, Sarah, and Adrian? We want justice, don't we? Guilty Stacey? Yeah, he knows he's guilty. Under your scars, you didn't see it? Click your notification bell a few times until it turns on. I mean, do it a dozen times if you have to, so that notification bell shows up. But you always got replay. Mama, it's always so nice to have you in here, girl. I love it when you're in here, you're talking, you know, you give us a lot of perspective of what was actually going on in your lives during the time, and I really appreciate it. Pidge, I love you. I'm sorry I had to say your real name when you were walking through the splash pad, but if I would have used another name, other people would have been like, I thought she said Aria. So, Pidge doesn't like having her real name. She wants to be called Pidge or Blue. That's it. That's all. Mama Bear walked up to me and said, by the way, Sam, it's either Pidge or Blue. Don't use your real name. She don't like that. So usually I don't, but sometimes I got to. I do appreciate you under your scars coming in. Something else that you guys can always keep an eye out. If you're only here and you watch the lives, that's fine. Watch the lives. I do post a lot of shorts and other videos to find out more information. If you guys haven't went over there and checked out the different shorts and videos, because if I can't make a short, because you can only make some things 3 minutes long, and if it's over 3 minutes, I'll just make a video. So you can always look at those things. If Stacey Wondra has slipped, Brandon has slipped, Sarah or Adrian has slipped, I've probably done a short about it, especially if you're new to the case and don't know. Brandi says, justice is here and will continue until every last one of those monsters that have knowledge, had knowledge, and are involved behind bars. Tick tock, Brando. Where's Michael? Thank you guys all for joining. Michael Joseph Vaughan was abducted July 27th of 2021. Michael left his home on his own free will, wandered away because he was a curious, beautiful little boy that wanted to go find a friend to play with. That's what Michael did. Those are the facts. Michael just wanted to go play. He was wearing a pair of flip-flops that kept falling off of his seat. He was walking up and down 9th Street, which is the street he lives on. And in a second, you guys, in a second, Michael Vaughan was taken. Stacey says by Sarah Wondra. Monsters lurking there in the background. Brandon shirtless wandering the neighborhood while or right around the time Michael comes up missing. Was Brandon being a lookout for Sarah, for Stacey, for Adrian? Who knows? But we know 4 suspects have been named in Michael's abduction and murder. And those 4 people are Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Adrian Lucian, and Brandon Shirtliff. Those are the facts, undisputable facts. You cannot say they're not named suspects, and they are. Even if they want to believe nothing's ever going to happen to them, they are named suspects. Stacey Wondra's going to trial, y'all. Trial for the murder of Michael Joseph Vaughan and for kidnapping Michael. Even though he said he had nothing to do with either of them, he's going on trial for them. Brandon, do you hear that? You rode in that truck to go to Cuna. You grabbed the duffel bag. You wanted to take Michael to your mom's house. You drove in that truck too. You think you're not aiding and abetting and showing intent? Why didn't you pick up the phone and call 911 when you knew Michael was abducted? Why do you talk about a fight that happened that night? Why did you go back to Cuna that night? Were you paranoid and worried that somebody was going to find Michael in your mom's house? And about this little gas situation, you mean to tell me that you guys leave with Michael wiggling and stuff in the back of the truck and he's screaming, but you guys go to a gas station? Was Michael Vaughan even still alive at the point you guys leave the neighborhood? There's so much to this case. We're building layers upon layers upon layers the more information that comes out, because it just doesn't make sense, Brandon, that you guys went to a gas station if Michael was alive in that duffel bag. What idiot would do that? And somebody out there has information. We just heard that over 200 cars went in and out of that neighborhood in the time that Michael comes up missing, per JUANITA Kelleher's testimony. So there's a car coming and going about every 40 seconds. Somebody saw something. Somebody heard something. Maybe they've even heard something from the suspects' mouths themselves. And it's time for you to make that call to the tip line, 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Remain anonymous. If you can help find Michael, collect a reward over $50,000. There are people that know things. Lots of people, I believe, that know things. And hundreds of tips have already came in. And we need more tips. And I say that a lot because Brandon and Adrian are still free. I want those tips to come in about Adrian and Brandon, or any tips, but specifically, I would love tips to come in about Brandon and Adrian, because they pretend like they're just going to keep walking free, and it isn't going to happen. They're all going down. They have knowledge of Michael's abduction and murder, and they couldn't have that knowledge unless they were involved. And they got to stop trying their hardest to, convince all of us that they didn't do anything. But that was your plan, right, Brandon? Right, Adrian? To convince the world that you guys didn't do anything? It's not working. It is not working. The tip line phone number is 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Please keep in mind, what if this was your child? What if this was your 5-year-old little boy? What if Michael was your brother, or your grandson, or your nephew? Wouldn't you want somebody to call in that tip? This family wants to lay Michael to rest so they can get a little bit of peace, but more because they want to know where Michael is. They want him home so they know he's home. So he's not just sitting somewhere else away from the family. They want to cry with him, You know, maybe lay on his grave, maybe visit him, leave flowers with him, I'll do all of the things. This family deserves that kind of peace. They deserve that kind of justice, to have Michael home and to have everybody responsible for Michael Vaughan's abduction and murder to be in cuffs and sitting in prison. And time is running out for them all. And we know that because we know the district attorney has got over 20,000 pages of discovery. It's happening. Stacey's going to trial. That's it. That's all. It is time. That tip line phone number, I'll say it again, 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Be Michael's hero. Be the family's hero, because that's what you would be. And Brandon, Adrian, you both have time to still be heroes too. And all you have to do, Brandon, is give up Michael. And Adrian, come forward. Tell law enforcement everything you know. Talk about it. It doesn't matter if it was your plan or not. Talk about what happened. That's how both of you are going to be able not only to give the family peace, but be Michael's hero. You know what happened to that. You know what happened to Michael Vaughan. You know it. I hope you both hear his screams at night, because I know his family does. It's horrific. You can't live with yourself like this for the rest of your life. You're going to eventually have to come clean. Thanks everybody for being here, for always supporting the Vaughan family, no matter what. For always, always supporting Michael and his case, being here, wanting justice, being a part of Monkey's Army, all of the things. We love you guys so much. Tabitha says, we love you, Brandy. Thank you, Connie, so much. You know, it's very, very hard to do what I do, to talk about Michael's case, as devastating as it is, knowing everything that happened to him. But if the Vaughan family can live through it, I can talk about it. As hard as it is to listen to. And we're just all going to continue to be a part of Monkey's Army and fight the fight right along with the Vaughans, because we know what they're going through. Like I said, Brandy did just visit or celebrate a birthday. So happy birthday to you, Mama. I'm glad you had a great day. She was able to go out on a hot date with Tyler. She got to see all of her kids. She got to hang out around the house and do some gardening. And, you know, Brandy is getting healthier and healthier and healthier. And it's amazing to see that she's still with us this year for another birthday, because we thought we were going to lose her. So I'm really happy we got to celebrate a birthday with you, Brandy, another year, and way, way, way more to come. So I'm going to get out of here, everybody. I love you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. I'll be back here Thursday, and we'll go over the rest of this video in another one. Hopefully we won't have any problems with the captions, because we really need those captions. We really, really do, because you cannot hear him. Deedles is in the house. Hello. Let me just get my phone out for a second. Heidi, my Chiron Heidi, if you're here in the house, kind of check into chat real quick. Outdoorsy Life, everybody. Lynn is here. Thank you. This is Brandy's sister, a sister from another mother. Good night, Mama B. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. Brandy says good night, everyone. Let's keep fighting the fight, and look forward to looking to see what Purple puts out on Friday, because Stacey Wondra's hearing's Friday, and she's going to put out all of the information on that. So I'll be taking a look, watching on replay if I'm driving, and being in chat if I'm available. I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.